All right. Here we are with the sequel, Ecco, the Tides of Time. And same as last time, the time will start when we get control of Ecco on the first level. So that will be 3, 2, 1, and go. So during these first few levels, it's going to be very important that I don't exit the water and I don't do an about face. That's going to make sure that certain memory values are favorable to a glitch that'll happen in a few levels. These 3D stages are basically auto-scrollers. You can speed them up a little bit by mashing the B and C buttons and making sure that you don't miss any of these rings. This level has a kind of weird puzzle in it, but fortunately we don't need to do it because we can just push Ecco through that wall. You'll notice the continuity from the last game. We don't have an air meter, which is pretty sick. Except, oh shit! What's going on? We have air now. What is happening? Well, this dolphin explains that Asterite just died. So, well, shit. That's no good. Who could have done that, I wonder? And you might recognize this map from the game we just played. This is the same tile set as that one level whose name escapes me. Except it's a different palette now. Ah. Turtle's given us a little bit of bad luck. And I think we met the requirements for the glitch, but what's going on here? Who's this weird-looking dolphin? Well, she's Trelia, and she's from the future, and she's gonna take us to the future. There are reasons for this, which we will discover later. And there's normally a cutscene here, but since we did everything right, we skip the cutscene and save 8 seconds. And on this level, we use these dolphins to get up here, and then we jump around the glyph and exit the level. In the future, dolphins can fly, and are also telekinetic. And psychic. The future's pretty cool. Or this one possible future is pretty cool. Oh, first try. That skip is really stupid. It's like basically subpixel perfect and frame perfect. And even if you do it correctly the first attempt, it only saves 2 seconds. So, pretty sick that I got it. And we're swimming through some water tubes now. This is like the circulatory system of the ocean in the future, because in the future, the ocean is a conscious being. It feels and thinks, according to these crazy long-finned flying dolphins. Alright. Tube of Medusa. So named for that giant Medusa that's chasing us. Fortunately, we're faster. Can get through it. No problem. And now we are into Skylands, where we are gonna get high with some bubbles. We use these bubbles to fling ourselves through the air. Oh, getting that fourth set is pretty tricky, but it is quite a bit faster. And jump, hit this one, bounce off the rock. That was perfect. It is tricky to play that level that smoothly. And now we're a bird. That just happens sometimes. And we got another 3D stage coming up here. These stages lag quite a bit on the Genesis, but they are silky smooth on the Sega CD. All right. Eagles Bay has the first of a few bird clips. When Ecco is in bird form, his hitbox is smaller, which lets us squeeze through certain walls, like this one down here. It can take a couple attempts, though. This one's tricky. There we go. Third time's the charm. And now we are on Asterite's Cave. See, the entire reason that we're going to the future is we need to talk to our old friend, who, as it turns out, is the Asterite. And, or, you know, the ghost of the Asterite. It's difficult to be sure. We can swim through that rock wall there. Normally we have to wait for that worm to eat it. But, it's the future, and everything's chrome in the future, including the Asterite. He explains that the Vortex Queen made her way to Earth and murdered him, and it's up to you to put them back together. And we're going to try a trick here to skip having to swim through the Asterite, and first try. That was a recent discovery by Chubbis in the last year or so. You can just clip through that, and it saves quite a bit of time, because otherwise you have to swim through the double helix, and that takes like 10, 15 seconds, something like that. It's a lot. Yes, hashtag free Chubbis. One of these days he'll be free. And we are back in the present with a new mission. We got to save the Asterite's life. We don't have any indication how we're going to do that, but, you know, it's just going to happen. But first we got to save some lost orcas. Some tiny little orcas. Bring him back to Mama there. Get more or less lined up there. Grab this one. And now we have kind of an auto-scroller here. We've got to follow this orca, and if it gets too far away from us, it'll despawn and reappear at the beginning of the level. And that wastes a lot of time. We don't want to do that. Once we get to about this point, though, we can leave the orca behind and swim to the exit. If we leave it behind any earlier than that, there will be a rock wall blocking the exit. Now we swim to the bottom here and talk to Blackfin, who is going to lead us to where we need to go. But he's going to do it in kind of an aggressive manner. He tries to lose us. But we're going to keep up with him, because I'm the goddamn Ecco the Dolphin. Blackfin also likes to get stuck on these rocks. Fortunately, today he decided to play nice. Let's talk to him and get the song to Shatter the Stone. And onward to Sea of Darkness, which is pretty dark. Take out that alien, because if you don't, and it touches you, you die. Do the same here. And get these stars. This level is rough on the Genesis version because every time the pallet cycles when you use the sonar, it slows down. But thanks to the superior power of the Sega CD, that's not an issue. And this orca basically tells us how the asteroid died after it got blown to smithereens by the Vortex Queen. The Queen scattered his globes all over the ocean. So that gives us a hint about what we're going to need to do. But first, Vents of Medusa, which has a lot of jellyfish in it. Normally in this level, we're supposed to turn into a jellyfish to avoid taking so much damage in this tunnel, but that's pretty slow. Faster just to go up through there. I have no health now, so if I get touched by anything, I die. But we made it. That was a little sloppy, a little scary, but it's okay. We've got another 3D stage coming up. And this 3D stage can be a little tricky because when you are charging, which is the fastest form of travel, you automatically lock on to whatever the closest enemy is. And since these jellyfish are all over the screen, that lock-on can pull you away from the teleport rings, which is not good. and now we are in Sea of Green. You'll never guess why it's called that. And we are going to skip this glyph by wedging Ecco between it and the wall. Pretty precise inputs in order to do that. That's another thing that was discovered by Chavis last year. That's the only glyph in the game we can skip that way. It's very similar to the Undercaves glyph skip in that regard. And now onward to the first boss fight of the game, Moray Abyss. Got this giant conch shell, which we can speed up its movement by pushing it, but as we push it, we constantly take damage, so gotta make sure we eat fish along the way to heal. And we don't want to touch that red eel because it will kill us pretty damn near instantly. Even if there's no RNG in this game per se, this level is pretty variable in terms of how much time it takes. Because there are so many things that influence the movement. And oh man, Asterite's looking a little worse for wear there. Just, he's down to one pair of balls. It's okay, we're gonna put them back together though. And we put Asterite back together. He gives us a little bit of lore every time, which of course we skip. And you're probably thinking, back to how many pairs of globes that Asterite had in Ecco 1, and it's like, oh man, it's going to take a really long time to put them back together again. His Humpty Dumpty ass. Might not take as long as you'd think. Just hold on to that thought. On this level, we are going to be using some interesting glyph skips. So if I line up Ecco like this, sonar then charge, that's not going to work. It says I have to rebuild the asteroids. And yeah, we'll do that. But first, I'm gonna get pushed into this wall so I can skip the entire level and not have to rebuild the asteroid. And I'm gonna do something similar on this level, except I might soft lock here, so hopefully I don't. I did not soft lock, which is good. And just, let's check and see how the asteroid's doing. Oh, much better. Look at all those globes that we returned. Did a lot of work in not a lot of time. These levels are where the Sega CD version kind of falls apart because of the load times. Every time you go through a teleport ring or into a text box, it's just a lot of time. And this is running on an optical drive emulator, so on a real CD drive, it would be even slower. Fortunately, we've got just one more pair that we need to collect on this level. Ah, yes, the glorious Sega CD seeking sounds. While they're not quite as meaty as the Dreamcast seek noises, they're pretty good, especially if you have like a Model 1 Sega CD. Yeah, discs, real discs? I don't believe discs are real. What's up, Cheeky? So the asteroid told us that its final pair is being held in the Dark Vortex future. And unfortunately, we have got no way of getting to the future because the Atlantean time machine can only send us up the stream of time to the past. So we gotta find our own way to the Vortex future, but first we gotta clip through a wall as a bird again. This one's kinda tricky. It spat us out that time. This wall just doesn't want to eat dolphin. Probably should have practiced this trick, but I didn't. Because normally I get it first try in practice. There we go. Okay. Got the best 3D stage in the game because every time we charge into an enemy, it resets our charge cooldown so we can charge again. Which means these sharks are in prime position to help us speed through this stage very quickly. So in order to go as fast as possible, you want to hit as many sharks as you can. And now onward to Lunar Bay. This is where the aliens have started nesting on Earth. A lot of weird-looking creatures in this area. Gotta make sure we don't get grabbed by the aliens, because they'll take us to alien jail, and we don't want that. And we can just wiggle Ecco through this wall here, and oh, what are these aliens doing? I recognize those stars. We're traveling through time, baby. We were looking for a way to the dark future, and these guys just handed it to us. Unfortunately, time travel, it's a one-way trip for these nerds. Ooh. So now the game is a platformer. There's very little water in the future, but there is a lot of weird gravity. And here we are going to be setting ourselves up for a huge shortcut. We'll hit that glyph and go down here. Hit this in case we don't get it, but we're going to use this electrode-looking orb here, and that should work. Gonna pause buffer. Using that to zip and skip like 2/3 of the level. It saves a lot of time. In fact, that was about as perfectly as that level can reasonably go. So that was really sick. We've got to remove some barriers on this level, which again has some weird gravity going on. One more barrier to remove. And we're not supposed to be able to go this way, but with a little luck... Oh man. Yes, excellent. We can jump up there and go to the exit. And this level, Graviter Box, has some extremely bizarre gravity that we get to skip most of, thanks to this little bit here. In a casual playthrough, you would be like having gravity sending you up, to the side, all sorts of stuff. Is that a gravity clock? That is a gravity indicator. So you'll notice when the gravity shifts, like it points the direction the gravity is pointing. And boss number 2, Globe Holder. This is where runs go to die. In Phase 1, you gotta smash it around the room. In Phase 2, you gotta push it into the wall. Fortunately, really good fight. And we recover the asteroid's final pair. That was an exceedingly good fight. I wish that I had had that in like a for real speed run on the Genesis. And when you touch balls, you go back in time to the present. Okay, and there's one more opportunity to soft lock the game. So I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to be careful when I'm returning the balls here. Okay, good. If you hit a certain angle, you can get back to the top of the screen and through the ring before those bubbles hit Ecco. And if that happens, it's game over, because you can't progress to the next section. We no longer need air. Not that we needed a whole lot of it to begin with, and all of our brother dolphins are helping us out with the aliens, and we are about to storm the alien castle, which looks remarkably familiar. Looks very similar to what we saw in Ecco 1, except this time it's on Earth. We clipped through a wall to skip half of this auto-scroller. It's a very easy trick, nothing special about it. You just gotta point yourself at a specific wall corner and go full speed. And by keeping this alien head alive, none of the other ones will spawn. So that just makes it one less thing I gotta keep track of. Alright. And on to the final boss, the Vortex Queen. Gonna swim down here, avoid the tongue, and let Ecco get sucked a little bit, but not too much. Then we should just be able to one-cycle the boss here. Yep. And that is it. We've defeated the Queen. But it's not GG just yet. Because this is one of those games that has content after the credits. Do you hear that, Upthorn? Yeah, shoutouts to Upthorn who did the tasks for Ecco the Tides of Time. When he played this game as a kid growing up, when he got to this point and the credits were over and he found himself back in Home Bay, it was like, oh, I guess this is like, you know, second loop, like in Mario or Castlevania. So he just turned the Genesis off. And this section actually does have some speed tech. There are going to be some text boxes that you can clear more rapidly by pressing buttons. And the amount of time you can spend can vary by as much as 2 seconds, which is kind of crazy. Okay. Back at the beginning. Do one last 3D stage. This is the toughest 3D stage in the game because it's got all sorts of sharks and nautiluses and jellyfish, and it all wants to kill us. Don't want to take too many hits because you take a lot of damage. I mean, a lot. more than a few hits and you're dead and you have to start the level over, which is a drag. You don't want to do that. I missed a ring. Bad times. But, you know, missing only one ring in all the 3D stages, that's pretty good. So we're going to talk to Asterite. He's going to tell us to go to Atlantis and destroy the time machine so we don't mess up the timeline ever again. And with that, it is off to Atlantis. Got a pretty simple block puzzle here. Get pushed by some wind. Got some more blocks to push. Not over here. Downward. And we gotta bring this fish over to a rather hungry dolphin that is too lazy to get it himself. But the dolphin was blocking the glyph, and it didn't even eat the fish, because we got it off screen too quickly. Okay, and I'm going to hold left B and C to skip this metasphere. That would normally turn us into a school of fish, and then these dolphins would try to eat us, which would be bad. And we are going into the final level. We're gonna aggro this alien larva here to open this door for us. And then swim through the stage very quickly. Gonna do some shenanigans to deload a floor so a block falls where we want it to. Oh, and we got a poor larva spawn there. Fortunately, still carried the block. Oh, damn it! Oh shit, get away from me! Get away from me! That was really scary. Oh man, and we got a bad larva spawn there as well. Oof. Frightening. I need to eat some fish. And time will be coming up. It will be when Ecco goes through the teleport ring at the end here. And time. Alright. We're gonna destroy the time machine now. Wait. We're not destroying it at all. Ecco's using the time machine. What's going on? But thanks for the GGs. Aludra, Booster, Coops, Cheeky, Shanna. Alright, the secret password is Merlindra. This was going to be used in a sequel to this game. That never materialized. But Ed swears that it's gonna happen. So, you know, that's straight from the creator's mouth. Alright, and thank you for the GGs. Arnaud, Stellar Death, GB says hi. Kraken, and Miss VTV, and No Diggity. No, the sequel is not the Dreamcast game because that takes place in a completely different universe. Has nothing to do with anything in these games. So we get a final scene here that explains that the Vortex Queen escaped in the form of a larva. She made her way to Atlantis and used the time machine to go back into Earth's past, where she found creatures that she couldn't rule over. So instead, she was forced to integrate into Earth's life cycles. So her descendants became arthropods. So that's another time paradox at the end. Ecco himself used the time machine to disappear into, wait for it, the tides of time. The game title, oh my god! And Ed Annunziata has confirmed that the sequel to this game would have involved Ecco going into the past to help the Atlanteans fight the Vortex aliens, because I forgot to mention this in the first game. The reason Atlantis sunk was because it got hit with a space laser. So, yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, my time is up, but there's still a whole lot of Sega coming up on SEGATHON 5 here. Hope you stick around and enjoy the awesome runs. Once again, I am Grimshins, and